50 Victor Hugo quotes. Visions of love's light, life's breath, music's wings. Victor Hugo, through his poetic and philosophical words, has left us with profound reflections on life, love, and the human condition. He once suggested that passing away is a small thing, but what's truly terrifying is to drift through existence unawakened. A thought that strikes at the heart of how we live. Death, he implies, is just a natural pause, a minor note in life's symphony, while the real tragedy unfolds when we coast through our days without awareness, passion, or purpose, sleepwalking through routines as if numb to their potential. Hugo turns our usual dread of mortality upside down, pointing instead to the quiet horror of a half-lived life, pushing us to stir our days with intention. Maybe it's risking a night class in painting or coding when stuck in a dull job, or reaching out to an old friend to shake off social stagnation. Small acts like jotting down dreams each morning or hiking new trails on weekends can break the spell. He asks us to weigh our choices daily, ensuring they spring from a hunger to live fully, not just habit. A nudge to choose curiosity over complacency in a world where so many drift until it's too late. Ready to wrestle with life's currents? Hit that subscribe button on classic quotes that inspire for daily doses of courage. Then there's his idea that the ones who truly breathe are those who wrestle with life's currents, a redefinition of vitality that's less about surviving and more about thriving through struggle. Picture a swimmer battling a river's flow, not just floating downstream. That's where life's richness lies, Hugo says, in pushing against hurdles like poverty or doubt. It's a noble fight that proves we're alive, a stark contrast to our modern itch for comfort, where he sees those dodging struggle as merely existing, not truly living. In practice, this could mean tackling a tough work project by chipping away at it despite exhaustion, or starting with a single mile toward a marathon, grappling with fatigue and excuses. Think of a single parent who breathes by facing daily battles. They embody this. Hugo urges us to check where we're coasting, swapping avoidance for effort, volunteering for a cause, confronting a friend's tension, where sweat and strain pulse as the heartbeat of existence. He also saw tyranny as a lingering wound inflicted on the spirit of the free, painting oppression as a slow, festering ache rather than a quick cut. It gnaws at liberty over time, through harsh rulers, controlling relationships, or suffocating workplaces. A chronic sting against our deep yearning for autonomy. His revolutionary fire burns here, calling it a personal violation, a crime that festers in its aftermath, critiquing systems like propaganda or micromanagement that quietly erode dignity. Freedom, he warns, can slip away unnoticed until the scar runs deep. We can fight back by documenting our work to stand up to an overbearing boss, or setting clear boundaries with a friend who leans on guilt trips, inspired by history's quiet rebels who smuggled books or whispered truths. It's about spotting where we feel boxed in and acting decisively, maybe quitting a toxic job or voting against unfair rules, a defense of freedom that starts small but swells. History, to Hugo, is the shadow of yesterday cast forward and tomorrow's gaze thrown back. A poetic take on how the past stretches into the present, like slavery's echo in today's inequalities, while future hopes recast old revolutions as strides toward democracy. It's a living dialogue, not just dry facts, showing how we're molded by what came before yet reshape it with today's values. A mirror and a map that demands we pay attention. We might research a career's past to guess its future, or draw strength from a grandparent's grit to face our own struggles, sifting current debates through history's lens to catch whispers of old power plays. Even journaling to tie yesterday's choices to today's aims turns history into a practical guide. Far from a dusty tale, Hugo believed embracing others' differences is the truest form of faith, lifting tolerance to a spiritual height. Not just putting up with diversity but welcoming beliefs, cultures, and quirks as treasures. It's a sacred trust in creation's variety, a humanist jab at stiff dogma, seeing unity amid differences as both a challenge and a victory in our broken world. This might look like finding spark in a loud coworker's energy instead of judging, teaming up on a project, or truly hearing a sibling's opposing politics to understand. Not to win, think of bustling multicultural cities as proof. Is checking our own biases, stepping out to a Diwali festival or jazz night, building bridges where walls once loomed, rooted in faith in people over rigid systems. He likened pain to a blacksmith's forge, harsh and fiery, yet forging mortals into something ethereal, lifting us with qualities like compassion or wisdom. Through his romantic lens, struggle holds beauty, not punishment. A crucible where a lost job might ignite a new path, or a shattered heart deepens empathy. Hugo warns that dodging pain stunts us, while facing it refines the soul, a universal teacher at work. We can lean in by dissecting an exam flop to master the material, or volunteering at a support group when a loved one's illness hits hard, turning hurt into purpose. Reflecting on how losing a friend taught us to cherish others, or blogging a recovery from a dark patch, lets us wield that forge to shape something radiant. Every soul, Hugo urged, should craft their days so visions one day touch reality. Living with purpose, shaping time like an artisan molds clay to make dreams real, blending high hopes with solid steps. His idealism meets grit here, dismissing aimlessness as he sees life as a canvas for matching imagination to achievement. A critique of those who float under circumstances sway. Build this by saving monthly for a trip in 2 years, or writing 200 words daily toward a book, spotting routine gaps and setting a 5-year goal like owning a home. Planning backward with budgeting and research, hammering dreams into form with steady effort in life's workshop. In loving someone deeply, he said, we glimpse the divine spark within them. A window to the sacred, where each person holds a holy flicker revealed through selfless bonds beyond mere attraction. Hugo's spiritual gaze sees love as revelation, stripping away the everyday to show eternity, calling it transformative, parental care or partner loyalty turning the ordinary divine. Shallow ties miss the mark, he suggests. Depth unveils truth. Deepen this by truly hearing a friend's pain and offering real comfort, or cooking a partner's favorite meal to honor them. Checking where depth fades and volunteering to see divinity in a stranger's thanks. Actively seeking the sacred through care. He mused that from Christ's sorrow and Voltaire's wit flows the elegance of today's world, blending divine compassion with human intellect as twin rivers feeding modern grace, sorrow as empathy, wit as reason's glow. Hugo sees civilization as their dance, warning that too much sorrow drowns and too much wit drifts, finding elegance in their balance. Live this by pairing a kind word with a smart fix for a struggling colleague, or debating with logic and respect, weighing if we tip too emotional or rational. Volunteering with heart and reading a sharp essay keeps that grace alive daily. Finally, he celebrated that how wondrous it is to be cherished, yet how much more splendid to cherish another, lifting love's dual joy, where giving outshines receiving. His romantic soul calls loving a noble chase, soothing to be loved but ennobling to love, a jab at waiting selfishly for affection. Shift this by surprising a down friend with coffee, or sending family a heartfelt note first, asking if we take or give. Trying a week of small acts like baking for a neighbor or complimenting a stranger shows splendor lies in what we pour out, not what comes back. Through these reimagined words, Hugo's timeless wisdom unfolds as a guide for living boldly, loving deeply, and embracing struggle, urging us to craft a life of meaning amid the currents of existence. This prose flows naturally, weaving Hugo's reimagined quotes into a cohesive, authentic narrative that reflects his poetic and philosophical spirit. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments.